Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Been a minute, right? So, I used to always do the live casts every Saturday. I tried to do every Saturday at 8 p.m. It really got in the way of an actual personal life. You know what I'm saying? Especially once summer started coming back. So I know it was a way for us to hang out and talk, but yeah, anyway, this is going to be titled something to the effect of channel update, but I'm going to update it in the way that I would usually in the live cast, and that is by showing off some toys. And we're going to start off. Well, actually, I've only got the one wave. I've got the Shang-Chi wave where you can make the Mr. Hyde. That's the main reason why I'm getting this. Some of these are cool, some of these are drool, but whatever. All in all, I can use these figures for something, you know? So this one is Wen Wu. So from the movie, Shang-Chi's father, Wen Wu is the fearless league. So this was Fu Manchu. Apparently that name was considered racist, so they started using this. I'm not here to judge if it was or wasn't racist. I don't see it as being racist, but I'm also not Chinese, so maybe they consider that racist, and it is. Okay, well, shoot, that's something they had to deal with, and I hope they did. Okay, so open this puppy up. I forgot that guy doesn't lock. It's a dollar store knife, so I expect there to be problems with it, namely that it doesn't actually lock in place. I could force it to, but it is what it is. Anyway, so just keep that in mind. Know your tools. So Wen Wu. It's funny, it's supposed to sound like Fu Manchu, I guess, right? Anyway, so here's what he comes with. This is the arm and the cane of Mr. Hyde. But aside from that, he's got this, shoot. I used to know what this was called, this hook sword. I used to know what this was called. Somebody in the comments, please remind me what this thing is called. It's supposed to be sharp here, like a gaff hook. Like this down here, the gaff hook that they would use from pirates. But yeah, it's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be like sharp on top and then a sharp hook down here. Anyway, so that's the weapon of choice for my man's over here. This is cool. He comes with 6 sets of hands totally. There's these kind of chi using hands that he's going to use. Here's the that's left and right, and here's also the left and right of the Kung Fu grip hands. I've got both of them in my fingers. Anyway, boom. So this is so that he can hold his weapons. Remember G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip? And then here's the fists that actually come with him. So these are supposed to be the rings. Instead of rings on his fingers, they're rings on his arms now. I noticed that with the toys, not just these toys, but specifically the I'm gonna give you guys an update on my health and all that stuff too. Anyway, he in the comic books used to have the rings on his fingers when he was the Mandarin, right? Because this is all supposed to be the Mandarin, so it's Fu Manchu and the Mandarin combined into Wen Wu. Could they call him Menwu? That'd be cool, like Manwu, Manfu, and I guess it's an actual name. Anyway, if they're going to be combining characters, at least pay a little bit of homage to those characters in particular. So anyway, bang, he's got the rings on his wrists now, so it's something where they all boom. I don't know if that's going to make him as terrifying a presence as he would have been if he, actually had the 10 rings that did different things and stuff like that. I mean, comic book writers have done cool things with them, like the Iron Man comics where the rings got separated and he had to go and find them, but they were all already found by somebody else. Mole Man had one of them. You remember, like, I think Malekith had one of them. And Tony had to make a what is it, a steam-powered armor, which I'm just like, bro, I love it. Because that's how you would use cold iron, which is the thing that will dispel Malekith's magic. So I love that. I loved that. That was a great idea. Okay, we've got Shaolin. I guess Shaolin. I don't know, love interest. When her estranged brother, okay, brother, brother Shang-Chi suddenly shows up in her life. Shaolin must choose between her solitary life she's created for herself or join her brother in the fight against the Ten Rings. Okay, so maybe she'll be like with her father, not with her father, with her brother, with her not with her brother. Yeah, she's gonna. It sounds like she's gonna have more interesting stuff to do. And I wonder how they're gonna pull that crap off. You know, sometimes people get upset knowing that I'm a progressive, right? I'm a progressive, and I believe there should be actual change in our governments and whatnot. And the current political parties are only in it for themselves. They're more about staying in power than actually helping us out. You know, mask mandates for us. Meanwhile, Obama has a freaking birthday party where Pearl Jam, who I've lost all respect for, are going to play for him. Bro, bro, come on. But mask mandates and isolation for us. You realize how long it's been since I've had a haircut? I'm almost at the point where I need to consider donating my hair again, you know, for a fourth time. I don't want my hair to get that long. You know, I really expected, now it's practically too long to just shave it off. Anyway, here's the body of my man's Mr. Hyde. Again, this is the main reason I'm getting here, these guys. So she also comes with 6 set of hands, exactly the same. You know, she comes with, well, not exactly the same. Here's the thing that's the same as the fists. Let me get these fists out. Looks like the one piece of tape holding those down plus the weapon. It's not much of a weapon. I don't like the weapon. But, okay, come on. So she comes with fists. So, little tiny fists for some, not wushu kung fu, but the women would use what Bruce Lee studied, for Christ's sake. He studied a feminine form of wushu. Oh, I know her name. Who coined the style? Who created the style? The hell? Oh, and she only comes with one hand that's open for actually using a weapon. Oh, that's cheap. They could have come with 2 like that. Oh, that's super cheesy. I'm literally like I'm looking at the slots. There's only 3 slots missing. Anyway, and then she comes with these 2 hands that do this. Whoa, this thing. It's like she's picking posies or something like that. You know, cherry picking. We used to do an exercise with the yoga. We used to do the cherry picking. That's what we would call it. Arms fully wide and fingers up and doing this. So cherry picking. And then her weapon, which just fell. And this is a stupid weapon. It's supposed to be like a form of Manriki Gosari. It's the weighted. It's a chain that's weighted in the back and it's weighted on the end with a little spear tip. So you can throw it, and like, you know, this is basically get over here, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, but it's all closed up. So like, what do? Buy another one and then snip the ends and put them on an actual rope? In that case, what do I need this thing for? Like, they could have just given us an actual little rope for this. Like, that's really cheap on their part. And then here's Shaolin herself, a character who was not in the comic books, mind you. This is, dude, am I wrong? Am I wrong in this? I don't think she's in the comics. I think that they made her just for here. I guess it's like, yeah, we're gonna make something for it's really, they're making something for China. You know, that's all it is. They're making something for China because they're trying to kiss China's butt again. You know, the Doctor Strange Tibet thing pissed them off, and the Eternals, they hired a Chinese director, but it's a Chinese director who the Chinese government doesn't like. And now they're like, oh, we're going to do this too. And of all the movies that are coming to the MCU, right now, Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, and the Eternals, which are the 2 Chinese influence ones, they're the ones that are obvious butt kisses to the Chinese government. They're the 2 that are not going to be when I used to do the podcast. That was one of the things that I pointed out. Those are the 2 that the Chinese government is not advertising and might not even allow shown in the government. So anyway, here, Shaolin, she comes with karate chop. It's because, yeah, karate's Japanese, not Chinese, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm actually really mad right now that I can't remember the girl who refined Wushu Kung Fu. Really mad at myself right now. Anyway, guys, my schedule is hectic and I stopped doing the This Week in Comics stuff because I stopped doing the This Week in Comics stuff. It's literally just as simple as that. Here's Tony Stark AI, which was a cute little storyline for a little while. I'll open it up and you can see it. Anyway, so yeah, I stopped going to Gotham Central, like literally just stopped, and like I'm tired all the time. Um, so I mostly just stopped leaving the house. Y'all know I work at home, so yeah. Comes with a leg right here. Anyway, I wound up getting what's it called? Diverticulitis. I know I'm saying it wrong because every time that I talk to one of the different doctors that I talk to, he always corrects me, and I always just kind of sure. Diverticulitis. That's the thing that took out Brock Lesnar. And I'm just like, Brock Lesnar got taken down by diverticulitis. Well, or he recovered from it. So you know what? That guy's a big pussy. Obviously, I can take it. So anyway, yeah, that's the thing that took down Brock Lesnar and screwed him up. He was able to come back. He was able to win some fights and whatnot. So it's all good. It's all good in the neighborhood, right? But that being said, yeah. I thought it was twice in my life I've had a gastrointestinitis, which isn't really that big of a deal. It's like you're having a hard time pooing, and then sometimes you wind up like it comes out from both ends. You know what I'm saying? I know, a heck of a description. I've had that twice in my life, and it's like it's extremely painful when it happens. The first time I went to the hospital for it, and I didn't go through the VA. I went through a regular hospital, so it actually wound up costing me a lot. I never needed to get insurance in my life because I've always been able to use veterans assistance, you know. But anyway, so wound up doing like that emergency room, and that screwed me over. So me no likey emergency room, you dig? Anyhow, so he comes with his two open palms, and he could put one of these either on his feet as the foot blasters or here as a hand blaster. Both of them are called repulsors. It's repulsor technology that he uses. And I believe, yep, these will actually come out so he can do it. You can stick it to parts of his body. Oh, no, actually, you can't on him. But anyway, you can make it so that it doesn't have the, well, you can just be like, you know, regular without the blast style effect. Anyway, and I guess you can get silly and put it on backwards, make it look like a carrot. Anyway, blue holographic carrot. Anyhow, so yeah, that so it felt like that is what it is, but it lasted a whole lot longer, and I looked it up on the internet because I'm a dumb guy. Instead of just going to the doctor, because I mean, free medical here in Canada, right? But I'm thinking, one, that's where the sick people are. And I don't have something that's, or I likely don't have something that's contagious, but I'm going to go to a place where things are really contagious. Two, there are people who are really sick there. And I didn't think I was really sick, so I didn't bother going. But I saw a thing that said, wait 3 days before you go to the doctor if you have this kind of a stomach ache and whatnot. And it was mostly in my left side. It was pain all over the entire digestive tract, but especially in the bottom left-hand corner, you know, like opposite the appendix. So anyway, they said wait 3 days. So I waited 4 just to be safe, right? And I go, and I didn't even bring the family. I went while they were all in bed. I left, and I didn't want to take the car just in case they were going to keep me overnight. So I took the bus. I double masked up, and I went, and I already got my second shot. So like, I'm good, you know, technically 95% immune. Anyway, but yeah, I went down there and dealt with all the crap and blah, 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 blah. The hospital system goes fast here in Canada. I know it's a big thing that, you know, oh, it takes forever. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I've been to the hospital at least, like for myself, twice. You know what I'm saying? No, for myself once. This is the only time I ever went to, that I've ever really used the hospital system here. But I've used the walk-in clinic systems before. Anyway, here he is, the AI Tony Stark, good for talking to Riri Williams, which they just released and I haven't gotten her yet. But anyway, he's you got to make a decision on how you're going to bend his arm. That's the better way to do it, but you can also use the other joint and do it like that. It gives different bends and they look different, but it's because of the wrist action here. But this is a dumb figure. It's a great figure if you didn't get any of the original, like the 80th anniversary guy here. If you didn't get that, then this is a great figure to get because this is the Mark IV armor, or Mark V, more specifically, armor. No, Mark IV. This would be the Mark IV armor. And it actually comes with the regular, guy here. Now these lights are really bright. Anyway, boom. So it comes with, the regular old helmet. It's got a little bit of blue inside the mouth. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I think you can. A little bit of blue inside the mouth, and everything, on the front is blue instead of yellow, which, fine. So you could pop off the head and put this on. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they could have just given us the head. You know what I'm saying? Like they've done it plenty of time in the bigger pack, like the Professor X pack. It came with, when you bought the big the other big red guy who starts with a D. Deadpool. When you bought Deadpool with the scooter bike, he also comes with a Hydra Bob head. Now, there are plenty of Hydra bodies that were being sold before, so they would just do that and, you were golden. Excuse me. And with Professor X, they gave the, I've got it in my bedroom. I got it hung up on display in my bedroom. The Amal Farok head, the with a little bit of the frickin' Shadow King coming through on the face, and that's used for the Kingpin Build-A-Figure. So if you got the Kingpin Build-A-Figure, which I did, then you can also use the Amal Farouk head and replace it with Kingpin. All of a sudden, now you've got Amal Farouk. And also with Archangel. Archangel's just Archangel, but it also came with a big claw. A lot of people didn't know what that was for. Well, if you got the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure that came with that X-Men wave that I've mostly got. Oh, I used to have hanging up. That's right. I forgot I took that down. Duh. Anyway, that used to be hanging up there. That came with the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure. Do I have the Juggernaut up here? I don't have any of that stuff here now. Anyway, if you wanted to build a figure Juggernaut, yeah, and the other one was with. Anyway, one of the Build-A-Figure sets was for Apocalypse. Anyway, with that one you build Apocalypse, but Archangel, which is awesome, comes with 3 different heads, right? One of them was the 4th horseman, Death. If you bought that and you have the thing, then you can actually change out one of Apocalypse's hands for that big claw thing, and it actually opens and closes. And the wire, the tube from the back would go into and everything. So they could have just done that here, and they could have done some kind of a thing, I don't know, like with Riri Williams even, what I'm saying? It's like buy Riri Williams and then you get her regular head, her Iron Man head, and you can get this little AI head that you can switch out. Like, you didn't have to make a whole freaking new thing of plastic for this. So that's frustrating, but par for the course, I guess. Still get headaches from 10 days of antibiotics. Anyway, here's the head for, and this is from the Contest of Champions video game, portable game for your phone and tablets and stuff like that. Anyway, I don't care about Civil Warrior. I could honestly give 2 squirts about this character, but he's kind of cool, I gotta admit. So I'm not mad that I got him, but like I said, I'm getting this whole wave just because I want that Build-A-Figure. It's the only reason why I'm getting this, because I already have a comic book accurate Shang-Chi. There's one character in here that's kind of cool, but anyway. Boom. So, pop this guy open. Anyway, so I went to the doctor and got in no time flat, and they thought it was going to be like kidney stones or something like that, which they shouldn't have, because kidney stones and appendices are on the right side. This was on the left, so they finally gave me a CAT scan. They did a blood or a urinalysis also, and it turns out that for the past 4 years, because this happened 4 years ago, I got a urinalysis. They said that there was some blood in my urine. I know, real wonderful thing. So they don't know what that was, so they decided to give me a CAT scan, and it's a good thing because they were going to just put me on the treatment for a kidney stone because pain in the abdomen is usually kidney stone, and a lot of people who were in the hospital that day, only that day, were there for kidney stones. Wondering how many other people who got their vaccinations wind up developing kidney stones because they were real sure that was the case, and there was a lot of people there, so it influenced their idea. Even though it was on the wrong side, the pain was on the wrong side. I don't want to start any conspiracies, but that's something that should be looked into. Anyway, if the vaccination is potentially making us sicker. I like this head. I might decide to try and get another one just so I can remove the cap, you know, the derby. Yeah, but I might not. I don't know. We'll see. Anyhow, so yeah, here's Civil Warrior. See, he's got the glowy thing on the back and everything, and boom, and ooh, I thought he was super loose in the waist, but he's not. So he's got your typical thing with the shield where it can clip to the back, or you flip it, and then it can clip onto his arm, or you put it back like this, and he can hold the peg in his arm. So peg or clip, your choice. Boom, there you go. As he's holding on to the peg in this particular case, or you can flip it and clip it to his arm, right to his wrist. So and it just it's held up a little bit higher. So anyway, yeah, he doesn't come with any extra hands, but they're red hands. He got these little things on the back you can paint if you want to give him new hands. It's not that big of a deal. Helmet doesn't come off, but I mean, how many Steve Rogers heads do we need, right? Anyway, bang. So we got that. So anyway, they go and give me a CAT scan, and they realize, oh no, it's diverticulitis, or however you're supposed to pronounce it properly, which is basically some people get huge pockets or different sized pockets in their intestines. They don't know why it actually happens. What do you call it? I saw there's some things online where they say, oh, it's because of this, because of that. Well, actual doctors don't know why it happens. So, and that's most of the research you've done, and that's actually talking to people. Doctors. Yeah, nobody actually knows for sure why it happens. Death Dealer. Let me see real quick. One of the most formidable opponents Shang-Chi has ever faced. So if there's only one of these guys, then boom, I'm getting one. But I really do wish the movie was out so that I could see, like, is this just a costume that, like, is this supposed to be an army builder? Because I could use them as army builders. But if it's just one guy, you know, cool. Why didn't they make, but instead of doing this guy, or instead of doing anything in here, why didn't they give us Razor Fist? Like, out of all the characters they could have given us, that's the character I would have wanted the most, you know? In the comics, he could have been comic book accurate. He fought against Wolverine in the second volume of Wolverine, you know? That would have been great to get that character, but oh well. Yeah, more than any of this nonsense. I mean, this, like I said, this character is cool, but a lot of the other characters in here, like the Iron Man specifically, and the Civil War, and apparently a lot of people do like the Civil Warrior, though. Anyway, he's got a hand that is a right hand, a left hand. A left hand that's holding a single dagger, which is cute. And then he's got a right hand that's actually throwing two of the daggers, which is also kind of cute if you pose them. I don't pose mine. But anyway, and he's got two open hands. So, boom. No closed hands, so he's got to go like this, and then suddenly switch to throwing daggers. Anyway, kind of cool character. I like that there's a slit in the side. I was just going to comment on this, but then as soon as I turned it, I saw there's a slit. So I like that there's a slit on the side so he can actually do his splits, even though this is the most of the split he could do. Also, turning, I like the little different color on the inside. Also, I see that there's daggers in the back. I'm sure they don't come out. Yep, because they would have actually had them on the side. So yeah, these guys don't come out. But that's cool. They got them on the back like that. It looks nice, you know? Anyway, if this is an army builder character, I'd probably like to have at least one more, you know? But anyway, Bang, there you go. Oh, I was going to say, he didn't come with a Hyde piece? Well, yes, he did. Came with an arm, a big hairy hand arm. One more piece, I'm going to open that guy up. Anyway, so you get these pockets, and that's like, they're called diverticuli or something, diverticulos. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of different names for all of these different stages. But when they actually rupture, and mine ruptured, that's when you get the leaky gut syndrome. Any food that I was eating, it felt like like I said, the gastrointestinitis. That's when stuff gets stuck and then it all of a sudden comes out really quick in both sides. Mine didn't just come out. Like it just kind of, yeah. Even after I went, there wasn't an immediate pain relief because gastrointestinitis, that's what happens. You get an immediate pain relief. Oops. It's immediate. It's like, oh, thank God. And you get up, you can walk around, you kind of stretch a little bit. You just get like a gas pocket or something, right? Well, in this particular case, no, it was actually the contents of my intestines, my small intestines, leaking out into my gut, which really bad. Food would get stuck, so it would come in, but it wouldn't go out. So now it's making things really uncomfortable. Yes, you can die that way, but anyway, so blah, 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 yakety smackety, and put me on, they were cool, because they were just like, wow, like what kind of pain you are, but then when they said, the stage of, or the level of diverticulitis that I have, they were just like, so you're actually leaking fluids, poisonous fluids into your gut right now. When you came in, you said that your pain level was like a 3 and sometimes a 4, depending on how you were standing or sitting. Like, yeah. He's like, why are you lying? I'm like, he's like, people who have this, stage or level, whatever the hell he said, they're always in a lot more pain. It's usually like an 8 or a 9. This is one of those things where women have said it's worse than giving birth. I'm like, really? Well, that's the case. I'm a badass mother fathead, right? So I didn't say that. I'm just like, oh, really? Cool. Because everything I was doing was just focusing on chilling the pain, But that's why I didn't want to be melodramatic. I don't want to come in and be like, oh, duh, duh. It's like I didn't think about kidney stones. I'm saying? I thought it was gastrointestinitis. I'm like, it's not going away. 4 days, doc, and it's not going away. I don't want to come in here and be like a big baby and be like, oh, duh. I can't poo. Woe was me. Shut up. So, yeah. Anyway, and here's Shang-Chi himself, and it's quite, like I'm gonna keep the character. So I'm gonna use him and whatnot. If I ever decide to do the stop motions. Oh, I built a wall. I didn't show you guys. It's late. My wife's asleep. I'm not gonna open everything up and go do that now. But I actually made a wall. I apologize. I should have thought about that. Excuse me. I'll make another one. I'll actually do a video on that, one of these days, I'm sure. But anyway, yeah. So the diverticulitis, emphasis on but it gave me 3 kinds of pain medications because, like, you're lying. You got to be in a lot more pain. I'm like, whatever, like I'm managing. He's like, you're not walking very fast down the hallways, are you? All right, bud. It's because I want my ass to show in the freaking gown, so shut up. Anyway, so yeah, Mr. Hyde, the final piece. So he gives me 3 pain medications. One of them is a narcotic, which was weird. I didn't have any hallucinatory. I don't know what any of that stuff means. He's just like, one of them is a narcotic, just so you know. And I always ask, and I always chastise my kids when they hear something and they don't ask what it means when they don't know what it means. And in this particular case, I was the dumbass who didn't say, what does that mean? And I didn't bother to look it up. So anyway, it's apparently a big deal. So we got 2 hands that are doing this monkey paw thing. Yeah, that's cool. There are fists for the other guy. Let me see what the other actual hands look like. Here's 2 hands that are doing this thing. They're both doing the same thing with the fingers. It looks like they're about to snap. So maybe at some point he gets the infinity gauntlet. But like this is totally, Like, this is totally like he's getting ready to snap. I mean, I'm just saying, or he just snapped. And boom. Look, see? That's a shape. Boom. I'm saying. Let me see these other hands, the fists of little darker, but I bet you can't even tell unless you're looking really close. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever. Yeah, you get these fists are essentially interchangeable, so it's that I'm not upset about that. And here he is. He's got the kung fu grip on his actual hands. Very fitting for Shang-Chi. So here he is. Very basic face, played by Simu Liu, I think his name is. This guy. He's apparently on the show, big-time Canadian show called Kim's Convenience. It's really funny about this guy. Here's his weapon. I don't know what the hell. What the hell? How do you even get this thing out? Hold on. Let me get back to that Kim's Convenience story in a moment. I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be. Some kind of staff that has a sheath on the side? I don't know what the hell that's for. I guess it's supposed to just be a bow staff. Whatever. Anyway, some kind of a bow. B-O, not B-O-W. So anyway, he's on the show called Kim's Convenience. I think it went up to 6 seasons, something like that. I never watched an episode, but my wife loves it. It's a big-time, important Canadian diversity show. Anyway, Simu Liu gets out of there and he says, oh yeah, there were a lot of, racist problems with that show. When he's filming like his last episode, that's when his contract's expired, he's finishing his last episode, still going to get paid for that. That's when he decides to start talking about a lot of racist problems with that show. Yeah. You say that when you were the head of that show, apparently, or one of the heads of the show, a very important person in that show. Over here, and then you go around and you start talking about racism. He went and he attacked Donnie Wahlberg for something that he did. He apparently said something racist 10 years ago or 7 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was, on Twitter. Some fans found it. And he's like, oh, imagine if we judged everybody by a tweet that they made, 5 years ago. Well, apparently Donnie Wahlberg, one of his co-stars in some other movie that he had done, what do you call it, beat up some a Vietnamese person, and he was saying, he's like, yeah, it was bad. It was because my dad was in Vietnam, and like we had a problem with this kid, and I guess just because he was Vietnamese also just made me want to hurt him even more. So whatever. So yeah, I guess by today's standards, that was when he was like 16 or 17, so he's a kid. He would have tried as a kid, right? Anyway, so he goes and he just says, he's like, yeah, that was a thing. He was apparently pretty remorseful about it, and he said that it was wrong. But his co-star, Simu Liu, decides he's going to say some crap about it. And then when he's actually in the show, he deletes the tweet. And people are like, what's going on? I was like, wouldn't it be uncomfortable if I still feel that way, but I shouldn't be putting that stuff up or leaving that stuff up when I'm actually co-starring with the guy. But if you're going to be an activist, be an activist. You know what I'm saying? But if you're trying to look out for your job, then just look out for your job. Because you can't be both. You can't be Ellen DeGeneres, who you're a closet lesbian forever. And then all of a sudden, oh, your show is about to be canceled. So, and I'm not talking about her talk show. I'm talking about that sitcom that she was on, which did no business. They were canceling because, the show sucks. Nobody's watching it, bro. Sorry, broette. So she says, well, I want to do a show where I come out because I'm actually gay. So she does. And then all of a sudden the show is kept for a couple more days because that show, that one episode did a lot. But the show still sucked. So people didn't come back for the second, coming out episode and whatever else. So they were like, yeah, we extended a little bit, but we're not going to renew your contract. So yeah, we're just going to let the show die. Sorry, you had one episode that was popular for that show. I didn't even heard about the show until she came out. I'm like, who's Ellen DeGeneres? But then she got on freaking Dory for Finding Nemo, and then she wound up getting her own television show because of that, and she starts yelling and screaming at her crew and what, and she's really abusive to people and whatnot, and it's like now she wants to come out and be like, oh, I've also got mental problems. Lady, honestly, nobody cares at this point. You're a freaking mess. Much like with Simu Liu, don't sit here and start, saying I'm Chinese American, you know what I'm saying, or Asian American. I don't know if he's Chinese. I'm Asian American, and and she's a lesbian, but you're only going to make something about it when you think that it's going to help you. So they see Marvel with a bunch of the SJW stuff. And yet, guys, there's a difference between the SJW stuff and the actual wanting diversity thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's extremes. Like, there are people who are flat out, full-blown racists, you know what I'm saying? And a real racist. A racist isn't somebody who, sits there and, like, says something that's a little bit controversial, and then you just start to, if someone's really a racist, you're not going to know. You're not going to know unless they come out in a freaking Klan hood. You know what I'm saying? Or one of the freaking, what's that one guy who got punched in the face? They said punch a Nazi. That were Richard Spencer, unless he's like a Richard Spencer guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that guy's a racist. You know what I'm saying? But like, there's a lot of people who are just like, dude, I've seen real racism. Real racism is when somebody comes up and they like look around before they start talking to you, and then they like look around and make sure there's nobody around when they start saying something. When they call your Filipino friend Mexican, and he's standing right there, and he's like, I'm Filipino, and I'm like, he's Filipino, and it's like, well, I mean, you know what I'm saying, but like, like you're cool. You're cool, but like some of these people, like listen to Rihanna and stuff like that. I think that Rihanna sucks. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that people who listen to Rihanna are lesser people who deserve to be in chains. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you have problems. You have problems. Don't be looking over your shoulder before you talk to me unless you're trying to plan a birthday party for somebody. I don't want to. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? I actually had this particular guy. I was at a music store. I remember I was the assistant manager there. Remember, I actually had to tell the guys, like, bro, I think that you're really trying to make a friend who doesn't want to be your friend. Sorry. Like, what I don't remember exactly what I said to him, but it was something where it was obviously implied. It's like, bro, yeah, like, I'm not a racist. You're trying to see if I'm a racist. I'm not one of you, so piss off. Like, I forget how I said this was in 2009, so sorry if I don't remember the exact term that I used. It was on the spot. Probably wasn't even that witty, but it got the point across. Like, oh, okay. And he just leaves, literally right out the door. You weren't even going to buy anything? Anyway, yeah, sorry, bud. I don't see you as some special person who's rolling for the cause or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it. There are real problems out there, bro. There really are. But you can't, nah, man. Maybe go back to school, or start doing something other than acting, something that you can own your own business, make your own movies, you know what I'm saying? But don't sit and start blurting racism when it's convenient and when it's safe. You know what I'm saying? Bleeding about anti-racism and all that stuff. No. Be a man. Come out, and if you've actually got something to say, freaking say it. Don't sit here and chump out. Anyway, so this stuff is not connected for Mr. Hyde. So you could technically, you'd have to cut it. I would probably cut it in the front here to get this off, but you still got the problems of what do you do here, right? So, I don't know, whatever. It's cool they did this. It is what it is. Whoop. So let me start putting these arms on. Actually, I'll just put that one arm on. Let me put the feet on. Which foot should go where? Okay, so here's obviously the right foot, which means this one should be the left foot. I mean, if 1 + 1 still equals 2. Okay, that one's not going on. Let me try and put this one on first, because I got them both in my hands. Ugh! Okay, that one went on, but the other one fell off because it wasn't really on. There we go. Am I doing this right? I don't have this backwards? Bro, I think I might actually have this backwards. Yeah, it came off too easily. Are these two different sizes? Because that'd be cool if they were. Anyway. Let's put you on there. You're kind of on. Nah, you're definitely supposed to be on the other leg. Get off. You guys like my Jim Cornette shirt? Thank you. Fuck you. Bye. Okay. How's everybody doing in the crappy situation that we're in right now with rich people being allowed to do what they want and the rest of us being stuck with social distancing and lockdowns and can't buy the things that you want to buy that you need to buy sometimes? I think the lockdowns are worse up in the state, up in Canada. I'm not sure. They probably are. This is interesting. They got they've been doing this for a lot of the characters now, especially the big characters, the way the DC multiverse always did. With the the arms going nice and easy. The legs, man, they don't want to go on at all. Shoot, practically had to pull out some freaking Vaseline to put these things on. Oh, okay. Put the thing in there. The cane. That's interesting. I guess that's for the pate, the teeth. That's interesting. The discoloration, the different color. It's not a discoloration, the different color. Yeah, to actually do the mouth. Oh, that's actually really cool. Okay, so check this out. Before I put the head on, this is actually really cool. So if you wanted to, you could pop this mother fat head right out, and then he would be toothless. But then some hot water, right? Actually more than hot water, because I would just go back. But actually, you can actually you could probably do this without removing it, but removing it would definitely be easier. Anyway, you can actually close the mouth, so you can have him do the grimace instead of the big, open, scowl. That, so, yep. Anyway, pop this on. Boom, and there we go. Mr. Hyde. Have him go and get beaten up by the Hulk. This is awesome. I wouldn't mind getting a Dr. Jekyll character also. Maybe I'll make one of these characters into a Dr. Jekyll. This is awesome. At least not the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. version. I mean, great actor, Kyle MacLachlan, played in the worst version of Dune ever made. But he still did a great job in it. But anyway, bang. Mr. Hyde. This is a very cool character. Like, I had this, and I just kept on thinking of Grey Hulk fighting him and some of the other cool stories that he's been in. You know what I'm saying? The siege on Avengers Mansion. You know what I'm saying? When he went after freaking Jarvis. I mean, dude, absolutely amazing, amazing build. Now they've got the Mr. Fix-It Hulk out. Like, he's going to go great with him. Yeah, I had to have this. Had to have this. So I bought all this other stuff just so that I can have this Build-A-Figure. Wonder if I can return these figures. Some of these figures now, because yeah. Honestly, most of these are probably just going to be molds for something else. Just whatever it is, what it is. I don't know. It's cool to have it an Asian American or just an Asian female character. I can use her for just somebody walking on the streets. I could give a crap about the character. Maybe the movie will show something great, but it just seems like one of those things where it's like, we got to have a cool female character in there, so let's devise a brother or a sister for Shang-Chi. If you do it right, sure, but whatever. Anyway, okay. Oh, also the blood in the urine thing, for the sake of conversation. I just went to a urinologist, whatever the hell he's called, the guy who checks your pee. He's a pee doctor. And he doesn't know what it is. I'd have to go to 2 other specialists to try and find out what it actually is. But he was able to rule out cancer. So that's good, because that's one of the things that people are most afraid of, like, maybe liver cancer or kidney cancer is usually, one of the big things. So he ruled out cancer. So, yeah, that's cool. Plus, you'd figure I would probably be sick after 4 years of this, so whatever it is. And it's also microscopic. That was something that he was very particular on. He was like, you don't see the blood, right? It's like, no, dude, I had a doctor tell me. Like, I didn't see it. So, anyway, yeah. So, it's not cancer. Yay. But anyway, I got some, I didn't bring it in with me. I got some pasta out there because I'm Italian. I'm able to eat some solid foods now. I'm still scared to eat solid foods. I had to go on a liquid diet, a clear diet is what it's called. So only things that are processed as liquids was I allowed to eat. So I could have onion soup, but I couldn't have the onions. So I could just have strained onion soup. That's cool. I like onion soup, but I couldn't have bread with it. Literally just things that would be things that would be peed out as opposed to pooed out. Hmm? Um, I could have chicken broth, but not the soup, and it couldn't be the creamy kind because that has milk in it. I could not have milk. Milk would be digested, as a solid, not as a liquid. Didn't know these things. Gelatin was the most solid thing I was able to have. That's actually still classified as a clear, though, because it's processed as a pee. It's processed as urine as opposed to being processed as poo. So, yeah, that was 2 days. I probably should have gone 3 days on it. But already I hadn't eaten for 4 days. Since I had the thing, I hadn't eaten for that 4 days. Twice I actually put some kimchi in my body. So like a sauerkraut. So I just took like three small things on 2 separate days of kimchi just because I figured it's good for gut health, right? But I really shouldn't have even done that, it turns out. Oops. Anyway, and then I was able to switch to um, a something. Something that would be processed as. So I was able to have like nothing with a skin on. So I couldn't have corn because the skins would be bad. Couldn't have any kind of nuts or anything like that. But I was allowed to start eating salads, which I just ate another one. It's cool. Costco has a really awesome salad with not kale but sprouts. Oh God, sprouts are just freaking amazing. And some poppy seed dressing. I didn't put the poppy seed dressing on it. I used a lime thing on it, just squirts of lime. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, so I had that. Just had to chew it a lot. I was able to have soup that was kind of thick. I just had to chew and eat the vegetables a lot. Make sure there's nothing with corn in it. Um, yeah, I was allowed to have milk. And I went and I bought some bran cereal. So I actually like bran cereal. There's like no taste to it, but it's something that you can actually fill your stomach up, and it's just, takes it and just goes bloop and just gets rid of it. It's like corn. It's a good mile marker. You can tell where you're at, your digestive system. Anyway, and so now I'm allowed to have solids again. Oh, I also had to do 10 days of horse pill antibiotics. They were like big effers. Kids love it that I can just take the whole thing without taking a drink and just, oh, yeah, it's all gone. Hey, see? And they're just like, oh my God, how'd you do that? I'm like, yeah, raw. Anyway, probably looks more sexual than anything else. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so I just finished the 10 days yesterday. My tongue was pure white. Brushing it off, it would come back in like a couple of hours, a few hours. It would come back all the white because no probiotics in my body. But anyway, yeah, I made some yogurt. I know how to actually make a yogurt. Yeah, I just took care of myself, and now I'm eating like pastas. Ground beef is okay because it's ground, but I'm scared to have an actual burger just because like now that the pain's gone, I remember like I don't really want that pain again because it actually was a lot, but that is what it is. Anyway, but I'm cool now. So I'm totally cool. Do some of these. Again, I apologize for not being able to do it live, but let me know how you guys have been. I know when I did that Immortal Hulk issue number 49, most of the comments were just, oh, it's good to see you back and stuff like that. I'm going to try and do a couple more reviews. I know that doing what I'm doing right now or what I've been doing is not going to, be particularly profitable for me on YouTube. So it is what it is. If it's something that I could have made a business out of, or become self-sufficient with, I would have loved to have just done that, but I wasn't making the kind of funds that would be necessary to quit my full-time job to do that. So it is what it is. Oh, what do you call it? I wound up getting sick again when I was taking the test. Like I told you guys about the tests and everything like that, and it was like it was really bad when I actually took the test for immigration. Anyway, it came back and they said that I failed it. They don't give me an actual score, which is really frustrating because I'm telling you right now, I kicked ass on that thing. But they do, so I forget what they call it, some kind of thing where they judge it a different way. Anyway, so they said that I I was not successful in the. Why do they always do that? Why can't you just simply say, no, you failed the test? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I was not successful in passing the test. Um, and I actually tried for a retest. For some reason, it didn't go through, so I couldn't do the retest. I'm glad that it didn't because I was actually sick during the time that I would have retaken it, which would have been the 8th of August. That would have been really bad. Like, yeah, no, that would have been super bad. Um, anyway, yeah. So anyway, here I am now. Hi, and yeah, yeah, stuff. So in 2 months, there's another test. I'm going to try and register for that one. I got to actually do the work and register for that one. I'll try and retake it. It's really frustrating because I know some people who I did study groups with, and I was doing better than them, and I actually coached them through a lot of things. They passed. So it's one of those tests where, and I called someone from the IRCC. So I actually called somebody who, like they're the ones who do the licensing. So like, yeah, the tests are important to do. You have to do the test, otherwise you can't get licensed. But what's more is it's not just about studying for the work, it's about studying for the test. I'm like, I don't understand. She says, these kinds of tests and the tests that we do up here in Canada are a lot of times not, they're, they're 50% about knowing the subject matter, but some maybe not as much as 50%, whatever. But approximately, it's about knowing how to do the test. You get what I'm saying? So like they purposely try, they don't just come right out and say, hey, what's the time limit to, file not an amendment. I can't think right now. But like if you get one of the deportation notices, you know what I'm saying? One of the notices of leave. You have to leave Canada because whatever reason. How long do you have to file for an appeal for such and such and such? Or do you even get an appeal? And it's like, oh, okay, I could just answer that, and boom, obviously I know. But no, they pose the questions in a way where they mess with you, and you think that they're asking this, but they're actually asking you that. She said the way that she can't give me answer, obviously, but she's like, one of the ways you could tell is if it looks like there are multiple answers that could be right, and even if it's just looks like both of these two answers can be right, then you really have to go back and look at the question and see what's the trick in the question. It's like, so you're telling me there are actually tricks in these are all trick questions. She's like, for the most part, yeah, they're all trick questions. So it's one thing to know the work, to know the subject matter, but you actually have to know how to take the test. It's more than just the subject matter, which is really frustrating and it's stupid. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can bellyache about it or I can just adjust and do the stupid thing. So whatever. Anyway, it is frustrating. Two people who I know, one person who I was actually in a study group with for the work took it and passed it. And another person who I actually coached them through and taught them the way to take the English tests. And then talked a lot about the work and study group with him, over the work for it. He wanted to pass the test also. And it's like, wow, wow. So I actually coached two people on how to pass the test and they passed, but I failed it. Wow. So that was really heartbreaking, especially since I had to wait like 4 months to get the results back for it. Really heartbreaking, but it is what it is. And it's just effing life, so whatever. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's how I've been. I've been reading a bunch of comics, but I've been going online and just reading a bunch of older comics. Yes, and unfortunately, some comics that aren't on the Marvel app. So I went on some of the illegal sites. I know I've railed against them, but I'm talking like comics from like the old Journey into Mystery comics, where some of them aren't actually on the Marvel app. They've got the reprints, but not the original. So it's like, oh, so like the first appearance of Zemu. He was originally called the Living Hulk in Journey into Mystery, but in Marvel Fanfare, which is the reprints, which the later comics reference, he's called the Living Titan. And now he's drawn white instead of, or colored white instead of colored orange like the Sasquatch, which, Sasquatch. All of it's like, it's funny. And seeing the typos where they're trying to take out the word Hulk and put in the word Titan instead because they're using the word. It's like, dude, that's wild. That's wild to see stuff like that, But it's also interesting to see that the coloration is so different. So to see how these were actually done, and it's like, I'm curious now how the recolorings were done for these, and some typos on there. It's like they couldn't have been done electronically because lettering wasn't done electronically. And so was there an overlay for them? Like, I'm very curious how and I'm going to probably try and do a video on Zemu, because I actually got most of the figures for the Zemu Build-A-Figure that's out now. I want to get them all, but I want to actually do a video on that. I want to do a video on the comparison between the Walking Dead comic and the Walking Dead TV series, and been watching a bunch of like Fear the Walking Dead and World of the Walking Dead. Been really into the Walking Dead stuff as of late, right? The new season 10 just came on Netflix recently. And season 11 is supposed to drop any day now on like end of this month, I think, on AMC, which I might wind up getting just so I can watch it. But anyway, yeah, probably do something on that. There's a whole bunch of characters I'd like to, talk about and whatever. I just haven't been feeling up to it. So yeah, but feel a little better. If this gets like, I don't know, even a lousy 200 views, then I'll consider doing something else. Oh, when you're gone for a while, though, people don't usually view your stuff. And then you start seeing the subscription numbers going down. And it's like, if that happens, then it is what it is. And yeah, hi. You still see me on Facebook. And once in a while, I'll drop in on Discord. But for the most part, I don't know. It is what it is. So I still just want to give some of my opinions. I haven't been given a lot of, and also, it's great to see some people from the comic book world actually reach out too. Because I know that I can be critical, and not mean, but critical with some people on their comics. It's great to see some people who I've been critical with, and they still reach out and they're like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. And the rare one, hey, I've never commented on your stuff before, but I noticed that you haven't been putting out stuff. It's like, oh, wow. I didn't realize that this person was actually watching, And it's cool because I don't do videos for them. You know what I'm saying? I don't do my videos for them. But if they can, if they can get a fair benefit from it, which all of them have said, the ones I've been critical on, they're like, you've been critical in a very cool way. I know that, like with Brian Michael Bendis, there was one video where I was really mean on, and I said I was really mean, and I apologized for it, but I was still mean about it, and I still feel like a jerk for, being mean about it. But, there's some people who I've been critical with. I'm just like, they can do better than this, and I've seen them do better than this, and this just isn't up to par. This just isn't good, this week. And, it's cool to see some of these people reaching out and saying, hey, I actually missed them because, they never said, most of them didn't say like it helps, but some of them did. But anyway, most of them just like, it's good to hear somebody who's not just a fan talking, and I'm obviously not a jerk about it. I'm not coming up and just like, oh, SJW this and SJW that, which a lot of people do, even though I'm not a fan of SJW stuff. But, they like the idea that I give a critical analysis. Yeah, even if sometimes they don't think I'm necessarily being fair. Again, I apologize, but I try to be. Anyway, and then of course the people who I've pretty much always said good things about, reaching out. That's also cool. It's really cool. It feels good when, sometimes these guys reach out. And I haven't been doing a lot of comic book reviews. Even if comic books that I've really liked. Sometimes, like right now, the mood that I'm in, it's hard to just keep on going in and saying the same things, whether it's good or bad about whatever comic book it is that I'm talking about. If I've always said something good about a comic book, there's usually not too much else I can add to the mix. It's just me just, oh, well, like I always said, I like this, that, this person does that, and I always like that this person does that. And what's the point? Go back and look at any of the old videos. You can see the same exact thing, There's certain comic books, the Spider-Woman, the Captain Marvel, the stuff like that. I love those books, Like any problem that I've ever had with it is some minuscule, minute thing, which is like, you know? Um, it is what it is. And the books that sometimes I don't like, like some of the stuff that Donny Cates has been doing. So those things where it's like, I'm still going to complain about the same things, I mean, what am I going to do? Keep on hoping that the guy's going to change? You look at the Daredevil stuff, Chip Zdarsky. The stuff that he does that's great, I'm still going to think it's great. The stuff that he does that I don't like, like the when he stutters a lot in some of his to show emotion. It's like, dude, stop. You never need to do something like that. All right? Like you've got the you've got the images to show that somebody's nervous. You got the images to show that somebody's cold if they're, brrring or whatever. Like you don't need to do that with the text. Nobody's ever really done that before. I don't need you to do that, Mr. Zdarsky. Stop. Thank you. But it is what it is, I'm not going to change, and the great art in the books, like Daredevil, for instance, or the great way that the story's being told, how he's actually changed Daredevil, but Daredevil's still in it. And there's Elektra now acting like Daredevil, but she's obviously not. And it's clear that's not going to last very long. I love the way that he does a lot of that stuff. None of that stuff is changing. You know what I'm saying? So like reviewing each and every individual comic book is fairly pointless, or at least I feel it is, So again, I apologize. And the people who are asking me about Amazing Spider-Man, I know that it's ending soon, and I think I'd rather take like 6 issues of it at a time and just respond to those as opposed to going issue by issue. I appreciate some of the and I've actually had more than just a few comments on it that sometimes I say I'm the only person. I don't know who else is reviewing the comic book, so I don't want to say I'm the only person, but I've read people saying, you're the only person who actually understands what's going on and is commenting on it, as opposed to people getting, I don't know what's going on here, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, that sucks, and I apologize. But I did feel that my reviews for Amazing Spider-Man were kind of redundant also, and I hate being redundant. Like I just said, I hate twice, right? Obviously, I hate it. I like redundancies. 2 is 1, 1 is none, right? But go look that one up if you're not familiar with that saying. But yeah, just being redundant in reviews. So I'd rather just talk about story arcs instead, and I'll try and get around to doing that stuff. I just have to not constantly feel like, dude, I'm really freaking hot right now. I feel like I'm sweating like a pig, but pigs don't sweat. Anyway, I'm going to go roll in the mud a little while and cool down. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah. All right, my peeps, I will talk to you guys later. I'll try and do some things a little bit more regularly. Going to try and do some more Explained in a Minutes and some more spotlights and stories to make up for not doing so many reviews, because I think I'm like, I don't know. There's a few people who do reviews. I'm one of the more popular of the reviewers, but I'm not the most popular. So for me, if you're not in first place, the view is always the same, So, and again, I don't make enough money doing just regular old straight comic book reviews to make it worth taking so much time in doing the reviews. I know to a lot of people it seems like I just get in front of a camera and I just talk. No, that's these videos. But actually, looking at a comic book, thinking about the comic book, really investing in the comic book, having the knowledge and actually going back and not trusting the knowledge that is on the top of, the forefront of my thoughts, but actually going back and thinking, where have I seen this before? You know what I'm saying? And then being able to reference that back and then actually finding the issue numbers to reference that back to and rereading the story, or if I don't have access to the comic book, um, looking at the synopsis for it and then recalling as best I can what happened in that comic book. It is a lot of work, you know. So whenever you say your reviews are the most thoughtful, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I love you for recognizing that I'm trying to be thoughtful and not just, this one made me feel like this, which if people like those videos, I'm not going to insult, but it is it's top of the head thinking. I like the more critical thought on almost everything that I do. So, but it does take more effort to, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's that. All right, guys, I'm out. I'll talk to you guys later. Promise. Scout's honor. Yes, I was a Boy Scout for a while. All right, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Again, comment not just, good to see you back, but how have you been? Because I actually do want to know. All right. Comic Book University, class dismissed.